Podcasting has exploded over the last few years, and yet so many business owners still hesitate to start one. They think the market is too saturated, that they don't have the right voice, or that they don't have enough to say to justify hitting record. In this episode, we're breaking all of that down. I'm sitting down with Abbey, our wonderful podcast producer, to talk about the current industry landscape and why we think podcasting is a smart marketing move. We'll explore why podcasting works, how to get started without a massive budget, and why, especially heading into 2026, a podcast can be one of the most powerful marketing tools for businesses right here in Central Minnesota. Welcome to Behind the Brand, the podcast for small business owners, solopreneurs, and aspiring entrepreneurs who are ready to start strong, stand out, and stay bold. Each week, we'll take you behind the scenes to explore what it takes to build a memorable brand and grow a successful business. Are you ready to get behind the brand? Let's dive in. Hello, Moxieverse. Welcome back to another episode of Behind the Brand. I am today sitting down with podcast producer Abbey. Hi, Abbey.
Hello.
Welcome back to Behind the Brand.
Feels good to be back.
Yeah. I mean, you're obviously here for every episode we record, but back behind the mic, I'm Behind the Brand. Yeah, super happy to have you. I thought this would be a really great time to talk about why people should start a podcast. We have been here at Moxie, we're always trying to wheel and deal for our dear friend Abbey. So we've been putting it into some of our proposals as of late when we have current clients or even potential clients coming and talking to us and saying, what are some things that I can do different this year? And we're like, start a podcast. So I thought, hey, let's talk about it. What would you say, Abbey, are some of I don't know if you have stats off the top of your head or just like the reality of the landscape of podcasting right now. What would you say that it looks like?
So I literally just got back from a podcasting conference,
Yes.
The largest independent podcaster conference in the world.
Yeah.
There was over 2,000 attendees at PodFest in Orlando, Florida. And the kind of landscape of podcasting right now is, if I heard it once, I heard it a million times. If you have the ability to add video to your podcast, add video to your podcast because that helps with repurposing it.
Yeah.
And then also use your podcast as part of your marketing.
Sure.
It's not just a hobby anymore. It's
Yeah.
not just three guys on an old couch in a garage. It's now people like you guys
Yeah.
are using it to elevate your brand, establish yourselves as thought leaders, use it for social media content, help it write newsletters and blogs and all this stuff. It can be so much more than just an audio or video file.
Yeah, absolutely. Is there like a current number of how many podcasts there are in the world?
Ooh, I didn't hear that number.
No.
I heard a lot of failure numbers.
Sure.
Do you want those?
Yeah, like what is the failure rate on a podcast and why do people fail?
The number one reason people quit their podcast is they realize how much work goes into
Yeah.
it. Like everyone just thinks it's what they're watching right now. It's two girls with microphones and headphones and ooh, cute fun time.
Yeah.
And it can be that if you hire the right people to help you
Yeah.
with it. But it's a lot of behind the scenes work to edit it, make the videos, make the audio, create the promotional content for it. So the magic number is if people are going to succeed in podcasting, you can kind of tell by episode 7.
Okay.
Because a lot of people trail off after episode 7. And then if they can make it to 20, they're kind of in it for the long haul.
Okay.
So there's a couple of mile markers along the way.
All right. Well, we are in it for the long haul
You guys
here.
have surpassed this a long time ago.
Also, for me, it is just two girls sitting here laughing
And
that's having fun. But that's because of you.
I built my business on that.
Yeah.
Because when I started podcasting, I'm like, oh, yeah, it's just like doing my radio show where I just turn the microphone on and have some fun. And then, oh, no, there's actually a lot more that goes into it. But I like the more that goes into it.
Yeah.
That's what I love to do. I'll do that until the middle of the night and not realize it's the middle of the night. So I always like to tell people, when they're chatting with me about starting a podcast, like, what do you think it is? And they're like, well, I sit down and I share my thoughts. And I'm like, great, that can be exactly what it is. I'll take care of the rest.
I think one of the things that I hear a lot from people that are thinking about starting a podcast or, whatever, they're like, it's so oversaturated. Like the opportunity is gone. There's no room for me. What do you have to say to people that say that?
Baloney. Yes, it's oversaturated. And yes, there's a podcast on every single topic out there, but no one has your lived experience with that topic. No one has your stories with that topic. You're the only one. And it's all in how you can maintain this long term, however that looks sustainable for you. But if you can grind it out and you can maintain that podcast and keep sharing your stories, chances are good the other people are going to quit anyway.
Right,
So
right. Yeah, exactly.
the numbers trend that direction. Yeah, it's a saturated market, but even if so I have a podcast called Abbey the Podcast Lady where I just talk to people about how they're doing podcasting differently. And everyone's doing it their own special way. And there might be similar things, but no one's doing it exactly the same.
Absolutely. Like, I think there's, hundreds of thousands of marketing podcasts out there, right? And yeah, we're never going to be, the Gary V's. That's not where we're going to rank, but we're talking about very specific things to very specific people in our area. And I know people do listen to our podcast. Yeah. So it's well, we're reaching the people that we want to reach. So, I think you have to kind of get over the you're not going to be able to reach everyone. That's just not going to happen. And that's okay.
I literally just got pitched because everyone's going through all their business cards from PodFest right now. And I got a random cold pitch email yesterday for some sort of service where you can go and upvote podcasts and maximum discoverability and all this stuff. And I just emailed back and said, hey, great idea, but the clients I work with, they're not trying to reach everyone. Yeah. They're not trying to get their show in front of everyone because that doesn't drive long-term engagement.
Yeah.
That's not their target audience.
Right.
Everyone isn't their target audience. They're looking for a core group of people that they can really connect with. And then when they do maybe have a book to sell or want speaking gigs, there's this trusted group of people that are going to be their number one champions.
Yeah, absolutely. I think for us, where I'm seeing it have so much value is when we are meeting with prospective clients. So the client didn't discover us from our podcast, but they reached out to us. We set up a meeting. Maybe we had an intro meeting. Then when we, got back together and they're like, oh, I listened to some of your podcasts or I watched some of your podcast clips. I'm tracking that. And I'm like, that's so interesting. This is such an awesome way for them to get to know us a little bit more on, because, obviously we're not talking about our deep, dark generational traumas on our podcast, but it's an intimate setting. It's an intimate conversation. And so I do think it's such a great way for our prospective clients, the people that are, maybe wanting to work with us to get to know us a little bit more and how we operate and just they think oh, they're cool. I want to sit in a room with them. So that's just been a really cool, discovery for me in the last couple of weeks.
It's they get to build kind of a parasocial relationship. And then it's oh, well, I can actually work with them in real life, which is really cool. It's taking it to another level.
Yeah, yeah. And I think there's so much to be said about the power of local voices. And, in our world here, we're downtown St. Cloud, there's 4 agencies in this little
2
bit
blocks.
of a stretch, right? For us to be setting ourselves apart and doing something like this, I think that does make a difference. And, we're talking about our local engagement and our community engagement and meeting with all of our clients that are all really local and just getting to share those relationships and have those real conversations. I do think it makes a difference to the people that listen.
And it's fun for the clients too. We just had legacy upfitters in here, and I could tell when he walked in, I'm he's nervous.
He was texting me all last week and he's I'm so nervous. This makes me want to puke. This is not something that I would do. Let me get back to you. I'll let you know. And then finally I got him to agree. And it was great, right? You're just coming in here and you're talking about your business that nobody knows better than you.
Yeah.
So,
and you get to hang out with the people who helped bring this new element of your business to life, which it's just more ways that you guys can stay connected with clients who their project might be done for now, but hey, you get to touch back in and be hey, what's going on? Yeah. And that might spark some new ideas too. When Liz came in here and she's oh, right, I need another logo made. This is her 4th one that she's had with you guys.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. When it comes to sharing your viewpoint, and thoughts on life and business and all things, a podcast is such a great place to do that.
Yeah.
And, like you said, nobody has the same lived experience or perspective as you do. So you're not screaming into a void of, or dumpster of all the same things. Everybody has a different take, even if the subject matter is generally the same.
Right. Every celebrity has a podcast interviewing other celebrities now, but guess what? We're still listening to all of them.
Yeah.
Because different stories are going to come out from different people.
Yeah. Even sometimes it's the same guest, it's well, I didn't hear that on this person's podcast.
Yeah.
So.
There was an armchair, Camille Nanjiani was on, and I'm just listened to him on this show, and I realized I'd listened to him on a different show the week before.
Sure. But I'm sure it was different,
It was
right?
different,
because,
yeah.
like, that interviewer is probably very different than Dax.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, like, probably not talking about men's bodies as much
No,
as they did.
nowhere near as much.
I love when you're on, and I can geek out with you about that. I bought my first armchair merch. I got a 1,000th episode sweatshirt. I'm so excited.
Good for you.
I'm so excited.
Good for
It
you.
has the Q's cherries on the back. I just cannot wait.
That's the thing too, is like you get these, like, you have a different lived experience meeting best friend Erin Weekly in real life. So you are best friends with Erin Weekly now.
Yeah.
But like, I like to call them my favorite parasocial friend group because like I feel like I'm part of their crew, and like then it's like, yeah, I want to buy merch. I want to be part of this greater thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, now I'm saying this. Now Kelly's going to be like, we need merch. Good thing she doesn't listen to this.
Oh my gosh. Moxie
I know.
merch.
Yeah, I don't even get me started on how many times we've been like, we need Moxie merch of some sort.
Mm-hmm.
Like
the socks were great.
Yeah. Oh, I think they're supposed to be going up on our website. I don't know. We're just figuring something out with SEO because it's more expensive if you have a store. It's a whole thing.
It's always a whole thing.
Well, obviously, with our podcast, we work with you, and we knew if and when we started a podcast, like, we were only doing it if we got to work with Abbey. Like, that was not going to happen without that. And I'm so thankful that we made that decision a year ago. But what, if someone is listening and we have convinced them that, yes, they have something to say, they just want to try it, what is your suggestion?
So I actually, while I was at Podfest, I was a speaker there, and I was talking about I call it my podcasting remix strategy of how to take your podcast and turn it into all these other things, because I'm also a DJ.
Yes.
So you got to remix it, right? Put that thing down, flip it, and reverse it. But I was sitting there and I was looking out into the crowd. I'm like, there's a lot of people here, and I had so many people come up to me afterwards like, I love this. How can you help me? How can you help me? And then I'd tell them, and I don't have the budget for that.
Yeah.
Which, understandable. No one has, especially if you're just getting
Like
started.
we were literally just talking before we started rolling, like, in our worlds, and you're marketing adjacent, like, this isn't like always. I mean, it is a necessary, like, marketing is a necessary business expense, right? But like,
how you do it isn't.
Yeah, and like some of the things that we offer are like not necessary, and as much as we love podcasting and I think it can be such a powerful tool for your business, it is unfortunately just like not a necessary expense, right?
It's not electricity. It's not your cell phone, like that sort of thing. So while I was down at Podfest, I'm like, how can I find a way to help more people to do this? And so I actually just created a micro podcast package.
Okay.
So for $399 a month, you can have me produce your podcast. It is an episode that is 10 minutes or less. Just you solo talking, monologuing, and it comes with a couple of social media graphics just so you have that ease of access, but just something short and sweet enough to dip your toe into the water, see if this is something you like, something you can sustain, and something to help set you up long term if you want to go further with it down the road.
Yeah.
So
I love that. That's such a great idea. Just like a really awesome intro, and that's one thing you've always said to us, like, your episode can be 10 minutes. It can be 50 minutes. Like, it doesn't, length is not, it doesn't matter. We kind of have our sweet spot, but that's just also because, like, that's how long we feel like we can talk without, getting a redundancy point. But I think that's such a great little offer for you, especially because from real conversations, this is what people are needing.
Yeah, I've just seen so much success with literally all my clients, like you guys connecting with the audience you already have, meeting new people. I've just seen some crazy growth happen on people's websites because I help like get things on websites and all that too. It's not just the audio I'm editing. So it's cool. I've seen it turn into book deals and speaking gigs, and like there's just so much it can do, but you have to get started. You can't just sit here and go one day. Yeah. That one day has to come.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just think of all the ways that you can take that, 10-minute, and this kind of leads into my next thing, like you can take that 10 minutes, even if that's all you're doing, and what you can turn it into. Like now you've just created a little bit of content for your website. Like us, we have a podcast specific page.
Yep.
And each podcast episode has all of the information that you put together for us, which is just amazing. We just copy and paste it in there, and a photo and, links to where you can listen to it.
Yeah.
So we have there. That's covered. Check. Then we also put it on YouTube. Okay. That's covered. Check. Then we get, social clips. That's covered. Check. Sometimes we will write a longer, more extensive blog. Well, we do take our podcast and it spits us out a nice blog.
Yeah.
And so we put that out there. But sometimes we'll take it even further and spin it into a more in-depth blog of some sorts.
And you should be taking those also and putting them on Pinterest.
Oh, yeah. That's
Pinterest,
the one thing we're not doing.
I'm going to look right down the barrel of the camera here. If you are not putting your podcast on Pinterest, what are you doing?
Okay, well, we could talk offline about how we need to do that because, yeah, we're definitely not doing that. But then, in our monthly emails, that's like our podcast is a segment in those emails. So it's not just a one and done piece of content. It can be, and that's what your remix thing is about, right? Like it can just become so much more and with like not a lot of work.
Yeah. That's the beautiful thing because the work is making the podcast.
Yeah.
And then you just kind of chop it up into little bits and pieces.
Yeah.
And it's great. So that's what I'm really like trying to push in 2026 is, and like, this isn't your high ticket offer. I know it's not, but this can help so many people at a really low price point just get started.
Yeah. Speaking just from experience, I think it's so much easier to grow a client than to get a client. I look at, some of our biggest clients that we have now, they did not start out where they are, but because of our ability to form really high value partnerships with them, they've turned into clients that are 30x what they started with. Right? You know, because we've created that relationship.
Because you help them grow.
Yeah, exactly. So, if you can do that with these clients that come in at just that micro podcast, and not all of them are going to do that.
Right.
And not all of them might stay, right? Like you just said, some of them might not get past episode 7.
Right.
So.
You got to figure out if it works for you. I've had clients where we got to episode like 7 and they're like, this just isn't for me. I'm like, and I'm not going to be the one to sit here and force you to keep doing it.
Right.
No, if it's not for you, it's not for you, and that's fine. And we can maintain a friendship afterwards. Like, just because you're not making a podcast doesn't mean you're not my friend anymore.
Yeah, exactly. What is, besides like just start, because like, of course, that's always the advice. Like, what is one piece of advice you would give someone who is thinking about starting a podcast?
I would say you need to think about your end goal, but don't think about it too much.
Sure.
Like, what do you want this podcast to provide for you, and not just, I want to read ads for Sherry's Berries and Purple Mattress. Like, please just pump the brakes if that's your first initial goal. That is, first of all, it doesn't even pay that much. You get $20 for every 1,000 downloads, so just stop. But think about what you want this podcast to serve you and your brand as. Like, do you want this to establish yourself to get more speaking gigs? Do you want to write a book down the road? Do you want something that's easy marketing for social media? Like, think about what you'd like to get from this podcast.
Yeah, I actually love that because I do feel like you listen to the armchair experts and I listen to the Toast religiously. Like, you listen to those kinds of podcasts that are well established, right? Like, they are the podcast in their field, or one of the podcasts, and they're pumping out ads like crazy. And it's
Recruiter.
Like,
Get recruited.
It's like, okay, well, that's the only way that it can be successful. But I love that, looking at like, even just, I want a book deal. Like that is, I don't know. That's just so cool that like that can be a goal that comes from a podcast. Like, you have to like look beyond the basics.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Like my own podcast got me a speaking gig at Podfest, and it's opened up a couple of inquiries for it too now. So it's like, it's not just to, I'm going to make $20,000 a month on just this audio podcast. Like, no, it can do so many cooler and better things.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's awesome. Is there any little bit of like final encouragement that you would give to anybody, like wherever they're at in their journey?
I have clients who are like Moxie, where we have 4 lights, 3 cameras, a soundboard, and professional microphones in front of us. But I also have a client who's been recording for almost 4 years now, and she just uses her cell phone, and she literally recorded, she's living in a tiny house right now as they're remodeling a house, and they recorded a show, her and a friend, with a cell phone on the Voice Notes app, using her child's mattress as a sound dampener, and it sounds just as good.
Yeah.
Like, if you find the right person to help you, or if you know the right way to fix your audio, you can start with as little gear or as much gear as you want.
Yeah.
There is no like perfect place to start. The perfect place to start is with whatever you got.
I do love that. We have just loved being on this journey, and I hope we're on it for many, many years to come, like going to be on it till the wheels fall off kind of thing. It's been such a unexpected like blessing for me. I don't know. I
Stop,
was
I'm
not
gonna cry.
well, one, I have gained a friend in you and I love that. Like you are such an awesome person and I just cannot speak enough nice things about Abbey. But two, like I think it's been the thing that maybe in the last year that has like helped me grow in my career more. I think it's like helped me push away any little last bit of like imposter syndrome that I have from like our previous agency. Because I'm like, well, I talk about this shit all the time on our podcast. So like I can do this. I can talk to anybody about anything now because I do it. And sometimes I am pulling stuff out of my butt.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I'm the
that's
one
kinda
who's leading the
fun.
charge. Yeah, right? So I think it's really just helped kind of boost my confidence. So, you know, my thought is like if you are someone that's listening and you're like, oh, I just don't think I have it in me, like you might be surprised. And yeah, in the beginning, it might not be great. I cannot go back and listen to those first episodes.
I hope it's not great for people.
Yeah,
Genuinely. Like,
right.
if you're not going back and cringing at your first episodes, you have not grown.
Yeah. But now I can listen and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm taking breaths. I'm letting people finish conversation. Like I've grown so much. And so I love it for that reason amongst many others. But overall, this has been just such a treat. And I really do think anybody should strongly consider starting a podcast. Abbey can help produce the podcast. We can help you come up with ideas, split it into like create this really awesome marketing game and be super strategic with it and just crush it.
If I could have you guys design all of my clients, like podcast cover art and logos and stuff, oh, it'd be amazing.
It would be great.
It'd be so
maybe
great.
we need to talk about how we can make that part of our partnership. Lots of
Let's
things
do
to
that.
talk about
Let's do that.
offline. Wonderful. Well, short and sweet, but sometimes that's how they roll.
Yeah, like I say, there's no perfect length.
Yeah.
Just don't beat the dead horse just to get to a certain time limit, because that's a waste of everyone's time.
Yes,
People are going to turn it off anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Wonderful. Well, thank you for listening. I hope this gives you some inspiration to come up with a podcast topic of your own, and you'll be reaching out to myself and Abbey to get that thing started. All right, see you next week. Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of Behind the Brand. If you liked this episode, share it with a friend. If you didn't, share it with an enemy. And make sure to leave us a 5-star review. To stay connected, follow us at the links in the show notes below.